Case file: The Tower Girl, 1887. Rapunzel was never a fairy tale. In the late autumn of 1887, a strange rumor began circulating through several small villages along the German border. It started quietly. At first, it sounded like nothing more than a traveling story told between merchants and farmers. A strange tower had been seen in the forest. No road led to it. No village claimed it. No maps recorded it. But several travelers claimed the same unsettling thing. Late at night, when the wind moved through the trees, someone could hear a voice. A girl's voice, calling from above the forest. Most people ignored the rumors, because isolated towers were not unusual in that region. Old watchtowers, abandoned ruins, forgotten structures from wars long past. But within a few months, the rumors began to change, because the people who claimed to hear the voice all described the same detail. The girl was asking the same question, over and over again. Is someone there? And sometimes she would whisper something even stranger. How long have I been here? The first report, the first written record of the tower, appeared in a personal journal belonging to a traveling physician named Dr. Emil Hartmann. Date: November 3rd, 1887. According to the entry, Hartmann had been traveling between two villages when heavy fog forced him to stop for the night inside the forest. While searching for shelter, he noticed something unusual. Through the trees, barely visible in the fog, stood a tall stone structure, a tower. It had no surrounding buildings, no gate, no visible entrance. Just a narrow vertical column of ancient stone rising from the forest floor. Hartmann wrote that the structure appeared extremely old, possibly centuries, but one detail made him stop walking. A dim light was visible from a small window near the top. Someone was inside. At first, he assumed it was a caretaker or a hermit, so he approached. And that is when he heard the voice. A girl. Soft, weak, calling into the darkness. Hello? Hartmann wrote that the voice sounded confused, as if the speaker had not spoken to another person in a very long time. Then the girl asked something else, a question that Hartmann would later describe as deeply disturbing. Did they send you? The girl in the window. Hartmann tried to find the entrance to the tower. He circled the structure several times, but there was no visible door, no ladder, no staircase outside. Just smooth stone walls covered in vines. Yet the voice above continued speaking, sometimes quietly, sometimes louder. At one point, the girl asked something that made Hartmann stop moving entirely. Is it day or night? The doctor looked up toward the window, and for a brief moment, he saw movement. A pale face appeared behind the iron bars, Long strands of hair hung down from the opening, far longer than seemed possible. Hartman wrote that the hair moved like a curtain in the wind, reaching several meters below the window. But before he could speak again, the face disappeared. The light inside the tower went out, and the forest became completely silent. Hartman stayed there for nearly an hour, but the girl never spoke again. The next morning he searched the area again. The tower was still there, but the window was empty, and no sound came from inside. The second visitor. For several months, Hartman told no one about the incident. But in early 1888, another traveler reported the same structure. This time, the witness was a soldier returning home from service. His name was Carl Bremer. Bremer claimed he had become lost during a snowstorm. While searching for shelter, he discovered the same tower. At first, he believed it to be abandoned, but as he approached, he noticed something hanging from the window above. Hair, a massive braid of golden hair. Bremer later described it as reaching nearly halfway down the tower wall. Curious, he called up toward the window, and a girl answered. But unlike Hartman's report, Bremer said the girl sounded frightened, desperate. She asked the soldier several questions very quickly. How many years has it been? Are the villagers still there? Did anyone come looking for me? Bremer was confused. He asked the girl how she had gotten inside the tower. There was a long pause. Then the girl answered, I was placed here. The woman in the forest. Before Bremer could ask anything else, something moved behind the trees. Footsteps. Slow, deliberate. Bremer turned toward the sound, and that is when he saw someone standing in the forest. A woman. Older, wrapped in dark clothing, watching the tower. Bremer later told investigators the woman did not appear surprised to see him. Instead, she simply watched. Then she spoke. One sentence. You should leave. Bremer asked if the girl in the tower was her daughter. The woman did not answer. Instead, she repeated the same sentence. You should leave. At that moment, the girl in the tower began shouting, Don't go, please. But before Bremer could react, the braid of hair suddenly lifted upward. As if pulled, the girl disappeared from the window, and the light inside the tower went dark. The tower that should not exist. By the summer of 1888, several villagers had begun investigating the forest, but none of them could find the tower. Not a single one. Maps showed nothing. Local hunters claimed they had never seen such a structure. Even Hartman himself returned to the area. He searched for 2 days. The tower was gone. Or perhaps it had never been where he believed it was. But the reports continued. Different travelers, different nights, The same story. A tall tower in the forest. A girl in the window. Long hair reaching into the darkness. And the same question asked again and again. Is someone there? The theory. Several historians believe the Rapunzel story originated from these reports. But the fairy tale version removed many disturbing details, because the original reports suggested something very different. The girl in the tower may not have been rescued. She may not even have been a prisoner in the normal sense. Some researchers proposed a darker theory. The tower was not meant to protect the girl. It was meant to isolate her, to observe her, to see how long a human mind could survive alone. One researcher wrote something chilling in his notes. If the girl truly lived there for years, then whoever placed her inside the tower was not trying to hide her. They were studying her. The final entry, the last known record, appeared in 1891. Another traveler claimed to hear the voice again, but this time, the girl did not ask questions. Instead, she said something else, something quiet, almost calm. I think I understand now. The traveler asked what she meant. There was a long silence. Then the girl whispered her final sentence. No one is coming. After that night, the report stopped. No one ever saw the tower again, and the girl in the window was never heard from. Conclusion. Most people believe Rapunzel is a fairy tale, a story about rescue, a prince climbing a tower, and a girl finally escaping her prison. But the earliest records suggest something else. There was no prince, no rescue, and no happy ending. Just a girl in a tower that should not exist, calling into the darkness, hoping someone would answer, and slowly realizing no one ever would.